I'd like to listen to a couple of yours actually. What sort of what's your best one?
Oh, my best one. I've ever actually recorded most of my best ones. I would say that my most memorable ones have probably been the very first one I ever had, because it was completely by accident. I don't know if you've watched that video yet, but um,
I'm getting through them. I'm trying.
okay, yeah, yeah. I just didn't want to repeat too much, but
It's all good.
yeah. So I I first I started studying lucid dreaming a couple of years back.
Yeah.
In fact, it was January of 2014, and I finished reading a couple of books, and so I went to YouTube and I was like, oh, I'm going to see what else I can find on lucid dreaming, and pretty quickly you come across astral projection, which I'd never heard of before. And
Mm.
so I watched a few videos and I was like, this is just complete crap. This is all
Yeah,
nonsense.
I thought that. I thought that.
And so, yeah, and so the at the time it was Lucidology, if you've ever heard of that, was like the top videos on astral projection. It was Nicholas Newport and his series.
Is that Lucidology 101?
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
101. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
it.
that's the one.
Yeah, so that's where I got that ramp timer idea. So the video I made on the ramp timer, that's
Mm.
Nicholas Newport's idea. And
All right. Cool.
and so I thought, it doesn't hurt to try, right? So I turned on the ramp timer. I set it for just to beep in my ears after several hours that night. And it beeped in my ears and woke me up. And then I just hovered on that awake asleep state because it kept waking me up over and over
All
again.
right. Cool.
And I had a whole series of false awakenings, definitely dreams, but false awakenings where I thought, oh, I'm awake. I'm going to go write about this dream. Oh, I'm still dreaming. And I'd wake up again and be like, oh, that was weird. I'm going to write about this in my dream journal. I get up and I realize I'm still dreaming again. And there was like 5 or 6 of those. And then the very last time I woke up and I was in the middle of vibrations, and it was
Mm.
insane. It was like, that was one of the times where I can say I've had sleep paralysis where I couldn't move.
Mm.
Because I'm just laying on my side and I'm staring at my wall and I can see through my eyelids and it feels like somebody's jabbing me in the lower back with like an electric
Yeah.
cattle prod.
Like the prodding like sort of
Yes.
sensation. Yeah, I've had that before.
Do you get that in your
Yeah.
lower back?
Yeah, well, like in the groin or the lower back, I've had that, and I don't know what that is. I mean, it's only happened to me once or twice, I think, where I felt like there's been something there, and
Yeah.
it's weird,
It
and like
almost makes you arch your back like that because it's
yeah,
jabbing
yeah,
you yeah. Yeah, so at the beginning, all of my vibrations always started from the lower back and went upward. And
yeah.
more recently, they've started sometimes in the head, sometimes in the back of the neck. But there's always something in my spine.
Mm.
So I'm laying there and the vibrations are just going and there's this noise in my ears like a jet engine roaring. And I thought back and I had actually experienced that same thing when I was 13 and I never figured out what it was.
Mm.
So when I was 13, I was terrified by it, and then it never happened again. So
Mm.
there, 20 years later, I'm laying in bed and it happens again, and I
That's
climb out of
crazy.
bed and everything is just glowing like purple, like you were saying. There's
Yeah,
purple light flooding.
that is a common theme. Every time I've been in a good experience, one at least,
Yeah,
the purple glow seems to be something that is quite prominent. It's kind of like you can see without the restrictions of the eyes. You're
exactly.
not
Yeah,
seeing from here. You're seeing from here, and to me, it feels clearer than seeing in this reality. If you can remember a good enough segment of one of your experiences and you try and compare it, especially when you first wake up in the morning, you think, wow, that was clear. But for me as well, it seems to be I'm in and out of clarity in an astral projection. I really have to focus for the clearness to come.
hmm,
And then you kind of lose it, and then you have to think, just stay with it, and then you're back again. And it's
yeah,
kind of like you're in and out, and
yeah. You got
mental.
to keep focused the whole time because,
Yeah,
right,
I had one. I've had so many now. Like thinking about it, that before I even understood what astral projection was, I was having these kinds of experiences. But one of the most notable ones, I lost my grandfather when I was 18, so quite a number of years ago now. And basically, he suffered all his life. Now, it was a chronic pain all the time, really bad. And when we lost him, a couple of weeks later, he was in the hospital, and I weren't strong enough to go because I loved him so much. I weren't strong enough to sit with him and watch him die. I had to come home, and I always felt guilty for that. I wish I'd have stayed with him. And this one night I go to sleep, and this is something that I felt these vibrations come on, but then it felt like somebody pushed me backwards into a pool of water. And I could hear and feel all the water rushing past my ears. I've never had an experience like this before.
huh,
This was unique. The vibrations were there, but the water thing was the most prominent thing. So I'm falling in this pool of water, and I can see this tunnel vision of light, like as if you're falling into a deep ocean, and then the sun's there, and it disappears as you go into the blackness, kind of thing. And as soon as the light disappeared, I ended up out on my landing on top of the stairs in my old house. And I try to walk down the stairs and realize that I'm literally off the ground and floating down the stairs, which was weird.
Yeah,
I
right.
go into the room, and in the living room, there used to be an extension on the side of the living room, which was like a downstairs annex on the side of the house, which was turned into a bedroom. And inside that bedroom, there was like a shower room for the previous owner had a disabled son, so they had like a large open wet room where they used to bath in. Now, I saw this blue light glowing through this door. Now, getting to this door, the living room felt like it was shrinking in on me and then getting bigger, and I felt like there was something evil in there, like an evil entity in there. So to check it out, I go through into the annex, into the shower room, and as I'm peeling back the shower curtain, I see my granddad laid, curled up in a ball under the shower, right? In every inch of his body, he had surgical needles stuck in him all over, right? His eyes were whited over. He looked like a corpse. He turned around and he's like making this weird sound going, like really creepy. I like
Got a
sort of
lot of
freaked
these.
out.
You got a lot
Yeah,
of these scary and the demonic and
yeah, it's a 50-50 mix with the good ones and the bad ones, but I always
yeah.
find the bad ones more exciting to speak of. This does
Yeah.
turn into a good one, though. I mean,
Okay.
I see this thing, and I say, yeah, you're not my granddad. I understood that something's imitating him, or something up there's imitating him, whatever. So I come out of the room, and then, like, all of a sudden, it felt like this negative sort of feeling had lifted. And then my granddad, I didn't see him, but his voice was there on a level, like you can experience someone talking to you in the astral, but they're not there. There's no voice, there's no sound, you can't hear anything, but
I
you
was
know that
actually going to
they're
ask if
sending
you
a
experienced
message.
that
Yeah,
communication for me is always very like they're projecting
it's kind of
images into
like
my head.
psychic
Yep.
communication, if you will, and
Yep.
I felt his presence, and basically told me that not to feel guilty about leaving him because he's in a better place and all that kind of stuff, and all that, and then all of a sudden, as soon as I heard that, this water started rushing past my ears again, and I wake up in bed and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I didn't have a clue at that point. What was that? What that was about? I didn't understand anything about dreaming, about astral projection or anything. I knew I had night terrors when I was a child, but I just thought that was what most people went through. And
So
that is really the point where I started studying, like starting to get into it a bit more. So
so you
crazy.
started out with sleep paralysis and night terrors as a kid, and
Yeah.
then did you quit for a long time, or did this stuff
Yeah,
continue all the way
for
through?
years I never had a problem. For years I had the odd nightmare, and that was it. But for years I never experienced anything. It was really, I think that experience that I've just talked about was the real first one that really started it back up again.